URC Power Rankings, folks, for round number 11. Yeah, it's been a wee while since we've done the URC Power Rankings. We've had some European rugby, we've had some internationals, I think, between then the last Power Rankings and these ones. So we've filled in the gaps, updates throughout 9. We'll go through them and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how they are looking. Zebra are at the bottom. Kind of no surprise. Zebra are in a similar position to they were last year, in that they're winless. 11 attempts and 11 losses. They did manage to pick up one win towards the end of last year, which kind of, saved them from a whitewash season. But, this season kind of started brightly, and then in their derby games against Benetton, they got beaten 38-5 and then 40-17 home and away. So, not ideal for Zebra. I think they're pretty comfortably at the bottom. So I've got them the same as they were the last time we did Power Rankings. 15th, we've got the Dragons. Sadly, the Dragons are down a couple. This is, again, eerie similar to last year. Last year, it was always these two clubs who were 15th and 16th. The Dragons, up until this point, have been a wee bit higher. But, they lost to Cardiff at home. They lost to the Scarlets away. And their record is now 3-8. 3-8 is certainly a lot better than none from 11. But, what can I say? The Dragons are at 15th. Another Welsh club in the Scarlets. But the Scarlets actually managed to pick up their second win of the season. They love a red card, do the Scarlets. What can I say? The Scarlets have had a few in recent times. Up 2 spots with that win over the Dragons. 33-17 actually ended up being pretty solid in the end, but they lost to the Ospreys a week before, 34-14 on their Boxing Day game. But 2 wins, 8 losses, and a draw. It's pretty similar to where the Dragons are at, to be honest. So let's hope this win in recent weeks can turn things around. And Edinburgh, what's going on with Edinburgh, man? You got so many good players. You lost twice to Glasgow, 16 points to 10. And then 32-25. 4-7. It's a negative record for Edinburgh. What? I mean, you got a lot of internationals in that Edinburgh team. You should be doing better than that. What can I say? Down 2 spots from the last time we did Power Rankings. So Edinburgh, disappointing to say the least. The next row, Connacht down 2 spots. It's rough because they play Ulster, Munster and Leinster a lot, and those teams tend to be pretty highly ranked. They lost at home to Ulster 22-20, which is pretty marginal. Ulster's one of the better teams in the URC this year. And then they lost away to Leinster 41-12, which is a bit of a hiding, but they're not going to be the last team that gets a hiding by Leinster this season. So, it's a 4-7 record for Connacht, which is pretty much what the same as we've got from Edinburgh. In admittedly a tougher pool. We've got the Lions. The Lions in 11th. Now the Lions, with the South African games, interestingly, the Lions had to play 2 away games. Most of the European teams seem to go home and then away. But the South African teams, the Stormers and Sharks, got to play 2 at home, and then the Lions and the Bulls, so the Gauteng teams, 2 away. So, the Lions, 2 losses, but pretty bad losses, man. 37-10 to the Sharks, and then 40-8 to the Stormers, down 3 spots. So their record is 50-50. They're 5-5, but those last 2 games obviously not the best. The Ospreys got their jersey hanging for a reason. One of the few sides in this kind of position which actually had a good break and then a good recovery, because they managed to win both their games. They beat the Scarlets 34-14. And then beat Cardiff away 22-19. So, admittedly, they beat 2 sides which are in that Welsh Shield, which haven't been the strongest. Cardiff's had certainly a better season than they did last year. But, what can I say? 2 wins is 2 wins. So, the Ospreys are up 3 spots, 3 wins, 6 losses and 2 draws as a bit of a mixed bag season. And speaking of Cardiff, our last Welsh team comes in at 9th, down 3 spots. They beat the Dragons, but then lost to the Ospreys. So it is still a positive record for them this season. So, we'll see how Dai Young's men go with the rest of the season and when they play some of their kind of Welsh opposition. We'll have to kind of wait and see. Top half, we have got Benetton in 8th, who certainly benefit from the fact they play Zebra twice. I tried not to score these results too high because they played Zebra twice and beat them both times. They beat them home and away, but they gave them absolute hidings, man. 38-5, 40-17. So Benetton's record is 6-5. Take the Benetton against Zebra results with a little bit of a grain of salt, but yeah, still convincing wins. So we'll see Benetton going throughout the season to see if they can do that against stronger opposition. The Bulls, sadly, like the Lions, didn't do well away from home. Down 3 spots over the last couple of rounds. They lost to the Stormers 37-27 and then to the Sharks 47-20. The Bulls, depending on which team they play, like which team they field, and depending on if they're playing home or away, still look like a team that could win the championship. But yeah, they've accumulated some losses now in the old Heineken Cup. And I mean, they won their first game, but the second game lost to Exeter, and then a couple of URC losses. Losses can be tricky if you keep accumulating them because it doesn't do great things for morale. Munster could have gone 2 from 2 if they managed to beat Leinster at home, but they lost that one by a point. But they kind of make up for it a little bit by beating Ulster away by a point. So Munster's poor start to the season seems to be being rectified a wee bit. They're on a decent wee run now, up 3 spots. Their record is 5-6. So, just short of that kind of 50-50 record. And speaking of Irish teams, Ulster are down 2 spots. They managed to beat Connacht just barely in round 10. And then they, like I mentioned, just lost to Ulster. So, where are Ulster at, man? Good side, but just not 100% convincing. What can I say? Yeah, 5th spot for them, maybe a little bit harsh. The Sharks have shot up with their 2 wins. They weren't particularly highly ranked. They're up 3 spots now with their wins over the Lions and the Bulls. Both pretty convincing, man. They scored a lot of points to the Sharks in the last couple of games. 37 points they scored against the Lions, and then 47 against the Bulls. Those are some seriously big numbers. So, yeah, we'll see if the Sharks, with the change of coaching staff, can continue on throughout the season. Glasgow, maybe a wee bit too high. I don't know. 3 for Glasgow. 2 wins over a kind of poor Edinburgh side. They're not in the greatest form, but they're 6-4, so it's a positive record. 2 wins on the bounce, up 2 spots. Maybe it's time for them to make a push against some sides other than Edinburgh. The Stormers, the reigning champions, are in 2nd. They also got 2 wins over the Bulls and the Lions. Again, big results, 37 points they scored against the Bulls and then 40 against the Lions. 8 wins, a draw and a loss. It's a pretty bloody tidy record for the Stormers, up 1 spot. But the record of all records this season thus far is Leinster's 11 from 11. They scraped through against Munster away, fielding what was not their best team, and then they walloped Connacht at home 41-12. So despite the fact they're not reigning champions for a season, they still do look like the team to beat. Those are the power rankings for round 11. You guys let us know your thoughts. This is how the kind of calculations have spot them out. It's sometimes a little bit harsh for maybe the Lions and the Bulls having played 2 away games on the bounce. Benetton maybe benefits a little bit from playing a kind of poor Zebra team. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.